The biggest stars. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The biggest names in music.
Oh, wow.
Big names, big songs, big guests, big prizes.
Well, it's a big show.
The Big Show.
Put your hands together for the one and only
Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean.
That's what I'm talking about.
OneFM 91.3. Good times, greatest hits.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is the one, the only, we love her so much, Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Am I
Morning,
too
Dr.
soft?
Jerry.
Or am I too loud for you, Jerry?
No, it doesn't go to my mic, so I'm not sure whether you all can hear me.
Loud
We
and
can,
clear.
loud and clear. We
Loud and clear.
Wonderful.
How are you
How are
this
you
morning,
today,
Jerry?
Dr. Jerry?
I am okay. It is quite a weekend, I think, with the Omicron,
Yes.
the new variant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and when it came out, I was like, oh my gosh.
Not again,
Are
right?
we
Yeah.
it's not again.
Not another
But
one.
we're not here to talk about that today.
No, we are here to
No,
talk
we're
about autistic spectrum disorder.
Yes, and I know we spoke about it before, but I think there's still so much misunderstanding or misconceptions about it. I thought I wanted to revisit this disorder again.
Which is good
Okay.
because I've forgotten exactly, what we spoke about in the past. I don't remember it at all. So, what is autistic spectrum disorder? Because when we talk about autism, I just think about Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman.
Right.
That to me is autism. Are there different types of autism?
There's definitely the whole spectrum, right? From mild to severe, and it is that complexity of this developmental disorder that makes it so confusing for everybody, because when we look at somebody that's mild, or when parents go they come in and they say, but I didn't think it was autism, and we diagnose with autism, right? And then they tear up and go, oh, I didn't realize, or I didn't expect.
So when you say mild, Dr. Jerry, how mild is mild? Like, what are the signs and symptoms of someone who has mild autism?
Okay, let's look at the three different areas that it usually affects, right?
Okay.
So the social skills that it would usually affect, the communication, okay, and also behavioral symptoms that we see. So those that we see in the shows, they are very repetitive, they're very rigid, they're very restrictive sort of behaviors, okay? They would have self-soothing sort of behavior. So those are more commonly seen by people because the behaviors are more overt. So they might, hit their head, or they might do the hand flapping, which is a very
Right.
classic symptom.
Yes.
They might repeatedly do certain symptoms, and we look at them and we go, okay, we've seen the frequency, we've seen the behaviors, the number of times they are doing, and you kind of suspect that they are on the spectrum. And then you interact with them, and some of them have echolalia. So you might say something, even the word hi, and they repeat the word hi. And then you say, hi, what's your name? They repeat, hi, what's your name? So that's, the communication is a little bit affected or flawed.
But what about
yeah.
some kids, right? I mean, I'm talking about kids here because I think it's easier to identify an adult with autism. But for kids, right, could they be borderline naughty and actually be autistic? Because you mentioned early on that some some people with autism, like for example, kids, right? And I was talking about Rain Man. I mean, that's an adult, but a kid, who beats himself or knocks his head or something like that, right? What if a kid goes around and hits other people? Is there a possibility that he's running around just hitting everybody? Is there a possibility that the parents are unaware and just assumes that their kid is just being playful and naughty when in fact the kid might be autistic?
So you're talking about without a diagnosis and the
Yes.
kid is doing that, it is a possibility if let's say they're very mild and they hit to get attention, they hit to self-soothe perhaps.
Right.
Yeah, it is possible. Without even for those that have been diagnosed, many of them do still use inappropriate ways of trying to get attention from another person.
Right.
Okay, I just want to
Okay,
deal with this
okay.
attention a little bit more when we come back.
All right. In the meantime, here's George Michael with Too Funky on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
And we're back.
Now, Jerry, I think my language may be a little off, but are autistic people naturally attention seekers?
What a way to put it. I've
I know,
never
but-
thought about it that way, you know.
Yeah,
But
you know what I mean?
they don't. Many of them would rather be left alone. So, for the word autism, the translation in Chinese is 自闭症. That means I want to lock myself within myself. Different from locked-in syndrome, but they just want to
wow.
be by themselves. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
don't enjoy.
yeah.
They don't enjoy a social setting, so to
Company.
speak. They just want to be by
They-
themselves.
Is this
Yeah.
why? Is this why so many? Well, I can't say so many. It's just the two or three that I know seem to be very, because they're locked in themselves. Their way of expressing is very creative. They're very artistic.
So there are so many different personalities, right? And that's why they are so lovely to learn from. Yes, they can try and get to know our world in a very creative manner, but actually their understanding of the world is different from our understanding of the world.
How?
Yeah. So, for example, I think I did mention it because we did cover autism before. I'm not sure whether I mentioned about this autistic teen that I had before and how he managed the oral examination. So before the oral examination, he was a bundle of nerves. And it was the O-level examination. And his IQ is 150 plus, which is superior IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet he is a bundle of nerves. So after the whole examination, I sat down with him and said, so how did you do? And he went, Auntie Jerry, I conquered it. I was
I
like, what?
concurred it. Oh,
Wow.
I was like, what did
Conquered.
you do? So, he said, I went in. There were two examiners there. The first thing I did was to smile because in a social setting, you smile.
Okay.
Like,
So cute.
that is true. How many of our students go in there with whitewashed faces,
Long
like
faces, yeah,
pale faces,
Yeah.
right? And he said, then I sat down. I sat down and I smiled at them. Then I remembered I need to look at them straight in the eye. Remember, these children have a lot of difficulty having eye contact. So he forced himself to do it. And then he said, we were talking about the topic, but I remembered that in a social environment, I need to make them laugh. So I told a joke.
Dude.
Brilliant.
Okay.
I mean, then I went, oh my God, wait. Was the Joe, relevant to the topic. He said, of course it's relevant.
Okay.
Like, why are you asking stupid questions, right? Yeah, but he said the essential thing in a conversation is to make sure the other person feels comfortable. And his way of making the other person feel comfortable is to make them laugh. Then he said, I think I did very well. And he did.
That's so sweet.
So he said he
Oh,
conquered
so
it.
sweet.
He conquered it.
He
He
conquered
should.
He conquered.
He conquered
Right.
the examination because it was a real challenge for him. But this is how the brain works. They break things down, they process things, and they deal with it.
Right. He
So
killed
just
it.
a question.
He killed it.
He
Killed
killed
it.
it.
He
He
killed it.
conquered. He saw, he conquered. So just a question, Dr. Jerry. So there are ways for those living with autism to train themselves to be able to act in certain social environments. And as you said, their brain works very differently. Like also with Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman. I mean, he had a photographic memory. Do all autistic individuals have photographic memories, or do they specialize inside of different areas?
No, so it is a myth that they would be so good in one particular area. They can have an uneven skill set, right? But it doesn't mean that they are gifted in piano, gifted in drawing, gifted in all having photographic memory. Some of them can have very average abilities, but it's not
But
about having a huge skill set. Yeah.
But they can be trained like this one person that you were talking about to manage certain situations.
They can. So
Okay.
for many of them, they if they are mild to moderate, we can look at the behavior and help them understand the chaos of our world. Now, the reason why they have all the repetitive behavior and self-soothing behavior is because they're trying to calm themselves in our world, which is super chaotic for them.
Hectic,
It's
yeah.
very dynamic. It's too dynamic.
Yeah.
I got asked by little kids, how come this person is smiling when they say that they are angry? And how am I supposed to answer the question, right?
It's
Because
their
we
way of
teach
coping,
them-
right?
Yeah.
It's their way of
So-
coping.
So they need to learn the chaos of our world, and we help them to understand. So we don't really train, we train the behaviors, but we help them to understand the different situations, the different scenarios, and it takes a lot of teamwork and patience from the parents.
Right. What about parents, Jerry, who are in denial? I'm sure there are many parents who are in denial. They suspect that there is something wrong with their child, but they just hope and pray it will go away at some point. How much harm are they doing to their kid in the long run?
I mean, there are different kinds of parents that are in denial, those that don't come forward at all, don't receive help at all. For those that do come forward, it gives the psychologists and the team, that means the different therapists, an opportunity to work with the child with or without a diagnosis.
Jerry, these parents in denial, the longer they stay in denial, does the autism become worse?
Yes, because the child will start learning more behaviors to comfort themselves. They don't know because they're not taught what to do. So if they're not taught, they cannot learn. If they don't learn, they cannot showcase what they have learned, right?
So it can go
that's
from
why-
so it can go from mild to severe if the parent is in denial.
If they have, okay, it won't go so bad. There are odd and exceptional cases, but yes, the condition can deteriorate.
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just coming off the back of what FD just asked, so autism is a neurodevelopmental
Disorder.
syndrome. disorder. Is there
Yes.
a way to cure or improve it? I mean, is there an end to this?
Researchers have tried to look for different ways, from genetic recoding to deep brain cell stimulation to stem cell
Yeah.
replacement, so many different ones. But insofar, it is still all in the research. I mean, they are still continuing to do the research. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And is there a
Yeah.
reason? Is there a way? Like, I don't. What causes it? I don't want to sound like I'm using the wrong
There's
language,
no
for
cause.
fear of like.
No,
There's no cause. Okay. Okay.
there's
There's
no
no particular
cause.
cause for
It
it.
is
Okay.
so complex from
Yeah.
one child to another child, from one individual to another individual. There, it in by itself, it is very, very complex.
Yeah.
So that's why it's been so difficult to come up with one like magic pill for all of them. Oh, there is no pill, okay?
Okay.
One.
Yeah, but
There is no medicine for it also.
right.
But they
I
do
mean,
take something to calm themselves, right? Do they
Um,
take any medication?
No.
None.
So
Okay.
if they
Right.
have like very compulsive behaviors, they might take medication, or the doctor might give some medication to decrease the compulsions and the
Okay.
obsessions.
okay, good question,
But
Angel. Ask Jerry that question again. We're going on air. Traffic update.
Yep.
In 3, 2.
OneFM 91.3 traffic.
Usual delays across the expressways. The PIE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down before Pioneer Road North. KPE towards the PIE, a vehicle broken down before Airport Road entrance. PIE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down before Clementi Avenue 6. AYE towards the MCE, a vehicle broken down after Yuan Ching. Please stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is from the therapy room. She is one of the top 10 psychologists here in Singapore. She is number one in our books. Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Jerry.
good morning, Glenn. What a confidence booster. Ayo.
Right.
You are the best.
You are the best, Jerry. We
You
all know.
are. You are. So, Dr. Jerry, today we're talking about autistic spectrum disorder. And earlier on the Big Show TV, we were talking about how autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder. There is no cause for it, and there's no known cure for it. But do people living with autism have any medication to take? Is there a magic pill that they take to sort of calm their minds down, or anything of the sorts?
There's no one magic pill. So if anyone is trying to look for a magic pill, there isn't one. But we do know that they present with different behavioral, issues and concerns. So for those, there might be medication that help. What do I mean? If they do have compulsions, obsessions, and it is very, very severe, the doctor might give them medication to decrease their compulsions, to keep them safe. But it doesn't mean that it is the medication for autism.
I think it's a good thing
Okay.
that we're talking about this today because, we want Singaporeans to understand this condition because many a time, when we go out, sometimes, to shopping malls or restaurants and all that, we always come across, children who are misbehaving.
Naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we just assume that they're naughty,
Spoiled.
right?
Yeah.
But in actuality, there is more to it than meets the eye. And I've seen on more than one occasion strangers, getting offended by kids and either reprimanding them or even sometimes physically hitting them.
Yeah.
So bringing up a topic like this, I think is very important. You know, because for anyone who comes across a kid who is extremely naughty, you know, you might want to think twice before scolding the kid or holding on to the kid or touching the kid, because this kid might be autistic.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Jerry?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, it is possible. It is possible. And I kind of like laughed at don't touch him, which is true. I mean, first of all, we don't go touching everybody's children, yeah?
Yeah.
But autistic children are very sensorial, which means that some of them can be extremely sensitive to all the different senses, including touch. So many of them do not like to be hugged and do not like to be touched. So if you do touch them and it happens that this autistic child is very tactily sensitive, they might just whack you, and you really don't want that.
Right. What if the kid comes up
Right.
to someone and whacks that person, which is what I'm talking about, you see.
Yeah.
You know
I've
what I mean?
seen it happen.
So
Right.
you know, I think one has to just think, right? Why did this kid just do that to me? Right? For no rhyme or reason. Because it's very likely that the person might just react by pushing the kid away or you know, kicking the kid. It's possible, right?
I'm not saying to tolerate or to take on all these beatings, but you know, we do stop the behavior. I think by the time the parent will already be there to stop the behavior, but we also need to understand what is going on with this child, you know,
Absolutely.
rather than to berate the child, or worse, berate the parent that, oh, you don't know how to teach your child,
Yeah.
which is very, very hurtful for the parent when they
Yeah,
are
yeah.
already trying their utmost to deal with everything else.
When we come back, I've got two questions for Jerry. One regarding a family issue and the other regarding parents.
This will be on the Big Show TV, folks.
yeah.
Yes. Meantime, here's Charlie Puth with Attention on the Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
Attention. All right.
So, Jerry, first of all, the family issue. If a family this is a neurological condition. I'm right by saying that? Okay. So
Yes.
a family has 3 children, 2 of them have autism. Is genetics involved?
Wow.
Yes. So a very, very good question, because there is a genetic predisposition there. So there are parents that worry, will my next child have it? But it doesn't mean that you will have it or the next child will have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other question that's come up on our Facebook page is this. We send children for therapy when they have autism. Should the
Yep.
parents be involved in those therapy sessions?
Of
as
course,
well?
because they are the ones that journey with the child. So whilst the psychologist, the speech therapist, the occupational therapist, educational therapist all work with the child, the parent needs to know what is going on in therapy and what we are trying to achieve. Yeah, because the parents are amazing. The parents that I've worked with have been nothing but amazing, because the amount of patience they have, I think none of us can measure up to it.
Yeah.
We've got some amazing.
Doc-
Sorry. Go ahead, Angel.
Okay, yeah, Dr. Jerry, I just want to ask a question. Forgive me if I sound ignorant, but we've been speaking a lot about dementia, because we're working with Dementia Singapore, and we've been doing some filming, meeting some people living with dementia and stuff like that. And when you refer to people who have dementia, you don't refer to them as dementia patients. You refer to them as people living with dementia. Is this the same for people with autism? Because I want people to know or create more awareness around it. So how do we refer to them? Is it also person living with autism? They're not necessarily a patient or a victim, right?
No, so they're not patient, they're not victim. It's a super, super lovely question that you ask, because many of the teens with autism, they just say, I'm a person with autism. I happen to have autism.
Right.
So a
Why don't
person
they just say
living with
I am
autism.
autistic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that acceptable?
Same thing.
Well, if they say they have autism, I mean, they would generally say that I have autism, I am autistic, and they are very comfortable to tell us. By the time they can say that, they're very comfortable to tell people that.
Yeah.
So
See,
in
you see the
speech, when
difference.
we're speaking about it, it's okay to say that person is autistic or that person's living with autism, right? That's the proper sort of phrasing to
Yeah,
use.
But
yeah,
that's interesting
yeah.
that you should bring that up and compare it to a person living with dementia.
Yeah.
Because, see, I will say that I'm autistic, but I don't want to say that I'm demented.
Demented.
Well,
You know
you're
what I
not
mean?
demented. When you have dementia,
But
you're
you
not
live
demented.
Well,
with
it comes from the
dementia.
same
You
word,
have dementia.
but we don't have a
You
word
live
for
with-
them, right? You're
Yeah.
living, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Living with dementia, yeah.
Yeah, right. But in
Yeah.
the past, I'm saying in the past, right? You know,
Demented was referred to as crazy, right?
Exactly.
You're demented.
yeah, and that's very negative.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
for many of them, they are. By the time they understand what it is, they're quite comfortable to tell us that they have autism. Because by
Okay.
itself, it explains a lot of their behaviors.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, and some of the other myths that we haven't really touched. So we touched on, are they violent? Oh no, actually we haven't really touched.
Yeah, not yet.
No.
No. No.
Yeah. So many people say children with autism or people with autism are violent. So you hear parents dragging their neurotypical children away from the child that is different or with autism and say, don't play with the one. Later he hit you. But actually, it's not true. Many of them are very, very sweet. They hit because they are triggered or they are unable to manage the situation. They are overwhelmed with the situation, not because they're violent.
Right.
And it's a way of them expressing themselves as well, right? I mean, instead of saying it, is that their way of expression? Because
No,
they
no,
don't
no.
know.
So,
No, it's not. Okay.
anyone that does not or has not learned how to use words to articulate themselves can use their hands. So you have teens that fight. You have those, that
Yeah.
they have gang fights, riots. Why? Because
yeah.
they don't learn to sit and debate or speak to each
Yeah.
other or negotiate, right? So they hit.
Yeah. That is
So
true.
no, it can happen to anyone. The other one
Okay.
that I have is children with autism are stupid. Oh, this really gets me.
Right. I mean,
They're not stupid.
you mentioned the high IQ.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh.
Yes.
Most of them
Boy.
are geniuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not all. But we when we do the baseline IQ test, we do know that many of them are just below average, so they can function like you and I, or even above average IQ. So they are not stupid. So don't treat them like they are, because they can feel hurt. So that brings me to the next point, which many people think they don't feel. That's not true at all. They have feelings too.
Are their feelings
So-
accentuated?
Yeah, that is super a really super question, because it is how do I say, is it accentuated? They feel more deeply because they are more sensitive. Sometimes some of them are more sensitive. Yeah, so they
I think
feel
they got it right,
overwhelmed
though.
by it.
What do you
I
mean?
think they got
Adrian?
it right. They're super sensitive. They think our world is like so it's so over chaotic and all that. And it's true, I mean, they're dealing with life, if I can say so, in a much simpler manner, right? And more people can sit down and just try and break things down and process things like the way they do, and make better decisions as well, right? I wanted to ask Dr. Jerry, are there ways to train or concentrate on their assets
Okay.
as such,
We do understand.
Question
Yeah,
on,
okay.
on air. We're going for a traffic break
Okay,
right now.
all right.
Stand by in 3, 2.
OneFM 91.3 traffic.
Well, we've got the usual delays across the expressways. We know that the PIE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down. If I'm not mistaken, that vehicle broken down. Oh, that one's been moved. I'm sorry. Just moved as my traffic updated. So let's give you a fresh look. BKE towards the PIE, an accident before Mandai Road exit, avoid lane 2. CTE towards the AYE, an accident after the PIE Jurong exit. Congestion to the PIE Changi exit, avoid lane 1. West Coast Highway towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down at the West Coast Highway flyover. That's a favorite stop for breakdowns, actually. Avoid the left lane. AYE towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down before Penjuru Road as well. AYE towards the MCE, a vehicle broken down after Yuan Ching. Please stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning, Singapore, and good morning, world. Welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It is a Tuesday, and every Tuesday we're joined by Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. And today we're talking about, good morning, Autistic Spectrum Disorder.
Angel, you had a
Yes,
question
we are.
for Jerry.
I did, yes. So, Dr. Jerry, I was wondering because there are a lot of famous people in history that have lived with autism. If I can just name a few people like Hans Christian Andersen, Dan Aykroyd, Tim Burton, Lewis Carroll, Charles Darwin, Emily Dickinson, and the list goes on and on and on. So they have found ways to sort of build on those talents that they have and become famous for it. Is there anything that parents or individuals can do to do the same so that they can really, not become famous, but build on that talent and build on the plus points of their lives?
Before I say, the other famous person that is so trending now with autism is Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yes, I heard about that. Yes.
Ah.
Yeah. But just sidetrack because I was like, are you going to say him? Are you going to say? And you didn't say. So I had to say it was off my tongue. Yeah.
Tesla.
That's where the parents come in and play such an important role because all of us have preferences and parents are very sensitive to know what their child likes, dislikes, gravitates to. When they come for therapy, it's just a set, although we individualize the program for them, but it's really just set programs for them and exercises for them. But when parents are able to tell us, that, he's very interested in drawing, why is he taking things apart and then putting it back together? And then we start to help them to develop in that particular area. And we look at whether they are developmentally on track, and at which stage they are, so that we can continue to grow them.
Right.
So it's a very lovely process, a lovely tango with the parents, with the child, and although it appears to be like trial and error, but it's not exactly trial and error with the technical part, but more the preferences of the child.
I'm quite surprised.
okay.
I had no idea Elon Musk was autistic.
I think his is more Asperger's, right? He has Asperger's, doesn't he?
Asperger's. So Asperger's is on the spectrum of ASD now.
Okay.
Yeah, so-
Okay.
Got it.
So Jerry, I just wanna ask you this question, right? So how real was
Yes.
Rain Man? Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. Was it an exaggeration? I mean, do adults actually behave the way Dustin Hoffman portrayed the autistic adult? Or was it an exaggeration? And, how Dustin Hoffman was behaving in the movie, was that more how a child who is living with autism behaves?
He did a pretty good, as we know, any drama, they dramatize it and they glamorize it, right? But he did a pretty good character of the Rain Man, of his character.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
there are adults
he
who behave in that way with autism. That is.
yes,
Yep.
yes. So
Okay.
he had the repetitive behavior. He had the very introverted behavior. I thought the one that is very interesting on Netflix would be The Good Doctor. The
The
Good
Good Doctor.
Doctor,
Yeah.
where yeah, Dr.
Uh,
Murray, is it? And
So
he had autism, or he has not had. You cannot grow out of autism. So that's another myth. You cannot grow out
oh,
of
right.
autism. You learn how to work around the behaviors, you learn how to work around your fears, and you learn to work with your strengths. So I think that's what Angel was asking about also, knowing your strength and then growing your strength and working with your strengths.
Love it.
I've got a question coming up in a moment regarding, because we've been talking about how we teach people with autism to do things, how we teach. Someone on our Facebook page has made a comment, and I'd like to see what Jerry has to say about it.
all right, here's Boyzone right now with "Love Me for a Reason" on the Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
Jerry, we keep mentioning how we teach them to deal with this, and we teach them this, and we teach them that. We've got someone on our Facebook page who says you don't really teach someone with autism, you learn with them.
I like that.
Wow, what a lovely way to put it.
Yeah.
And yes, I had a 5-year-old come in, or 4 or 5. No, I saw the little kid from 4. So he came in, for 5 going on 6. And it was just last week, so I must share this story. He came in and he has a new watch. Okay, this little tyke here comes in and he says, "I've got a watch, Auntie Jerry." I was like, "Yeah, okay." Mine is a digital watch. It's 200 meters. It's waterproof. 200 meters. So okay. And then so he looks. I thought he didn't see me wearing my watch, right? But then he asked, "Is your watch waterproof?" And I was like, "No." Then he said, he thought for 1 second and he went, "Oh, I think it's water resistant." And I was like, "Yeah, yes, wow." Yeah. I was like, "Yeah, I guess it is. I think it is." Oh, then I said, "Oh, what's the difference between water resistance and waterproof?" And he goes, "Well, water resistant is when you go in the water for a little while, you can wash your hands and can, go inside the water for a little while. Mine is 200 meters. I can
Cute.
stay a longer." I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing."
Amazing.
And he
It's
went,
crazy.
"Oh,
I can
yeah.
I can immediately tell you what watch he was wearing. He was wearing a Rolex Sea Dweller, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sure a 5-year-old.
Oh, my dear." And the funniest thing was, it didn't end there, okay?
Yeah.
After he finished with the waterproof and water resistant, he went, "Well, mine is digital. Can you read digital?" I said,
digital.
"Yes." And I was wondering where it was going. And then he said, "Well, yours is analog." And I was like, "Okay.
Wow.
Yes, mine is analog." And but I cannot read it. It's in Roman numerals. Now, mind you, I did not see him looking at my watch at all. There was a distance between him and myself. But he must have caught a glimpse at some point, and he remembered all these details. And
It wasn't his
even
first
looking
time
in
with
my
you?
eyes.
Wasn't his first time
But
with you,
it's
or it
the
was?
first time he's seeing me with this watch.
With that particular watch, right? Okay, I thought you might have seen it from
Yeah.
before.
But there was
Wow.
a digital dive watch, 200 meters down, that's a dive watch.
Yeah, it's a dive watch.
It could be a Sunto,
It could be.
Started the watch debate now.
Glenn is
But it
obsessed
was
with what kind
such
of
a
watch it is.
lovely- No, I have no idea. Don't ask me about watches. I was just fascinated when. That's why I wanted to share, because after
That's
he's totally
incredible.
right. Whoever that wrote in, it's absolutely right. We learn with them. I had to take a second glance at my watch to actually, realize that it is Roman numerals.
And look at all the
That's
details,
wow.
right? I think
The
we don't look at
details
all
he
those
remembered.
details enough. Yeah.
The
Yes.
details.
We can definitely
Yes,
learn
and
from
he's
them.
only 5. It was
My
just so
goodness.
beautiful
Yeah.
having that conversation with him.
He's quite special
Yeah.
because he looks and he sees. Most
Yeah.
of us just
Yeah.
look, but we don't see.
That's
He
true.
looks and he
We don't
sees.
see.
He's
Yeah.
he's 5 years
Yeah.
old. I'm 35 years old. I still don't understand watches.
Now you
He
said
still
this.
can't read Roman numerals.
That's right.
You said this child was 5. How young can you diagnose autism?
So the traits we can you can bring the child in from as young as 3 years old or even 2 plus. Yeah, and we can help you with the signs and symptoms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
very
I have a question. So earlier we were speaking about Asperger's. Well, we didn't really speak about it, but you said it's on the spectrum of autism, right? So
Yes.
autism is basically the umbrella of all the different disorders.
Correct.
What else?
Correct.
What other names are there out there besides Asperger's, besides autism? What are the other terms that are used that we may not know?
Oh, I know what watch this kid has already.
Oh my
He
goodness.
has a G-Shock. Yes.
I
it
was
has to
gonna
be a
say it's a
G-Shock.
Casio. I was gonna say a Casio.
No,
yeah, I was
and
gonna say
and his is also water resistant to 200 meters. There you go. Has to be this one. Has to be this one.
What color was it?
G-Shock. There you go. For those of you watching
Was
us
it
on the Big
black?
Show
Was
TV,
it
I got
blue?
it. I got
no,
it. I
it
got
doesn't
it.
look anything like that.
Okay, back to the drawing board.
He's back to googling watches.
The next time, Jerry, the next time this little 5-year-old boy comes in, please find out what the watch is because Glenn is going to lose sleep. over it.
Yes.
Yeah. In the
Okay,
middle
wait,
of the night,
back to
he'll
my-
wake up
back
and
to
think
my
about
question.
watches.
Exactly.
Back
go, go.
Back to my question. This is more important. What other terms are there out there that may describe someone living with autism, Asperger's, and all that?
So it is ASD, so mild to severe, and then there's Asperger's. There is pervasive disorder not otherwise specified. So there's yeah, you can't put into any category. So there's this category called not otherwise specified. And then there is the more severe, but it's very few of them that have it, the Rett syndrome.
Rett.
RETT apostrophe S, Rett syndrome.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah. And childhood disintegrative disorder.
Okay.
So it all falls
So
under
that's
the
on
umbrella of
most
autism.
Severe, yeah,
Most severe, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The
Wow.
most
Okay.
severe ones. So we don't
Yeah.
usually refer to that. We look at the average spectrum of mild to severe.
I only ask because that means we're now less ignorant of the terms that are out there because
Yeah.
sometimes you hear it and then you're like, oh, what are you talking about? And it's just good to know these things.
So you mentioned Asperger's and all that.
Of the timing, I think Julian is waiting.
No,
Is
no,
on
Julian's
No,
not
Julian
coming
is
in
not
today.
around.
Julian's
all
we
you.
got you the whole morning.
Yeah, Julian's not coming in today.
You have the whole
Yeah. So you mentioned Asperger's just now. We are talking about the autistic spectrum this morning. Just like Angel mentioned earlier on, we work with Dementia Singapore, and there are many different types of
Yes.
Well, is it right to say many types of dementia? But no, for
Levels.
example, Alzheimer's comes under dementia as well.
Dementia.
And I hear there are over 1,000 different
Diagnoses.
conditions
Yeah.
that come under dementia.
Dementia.
So autistic wise, you mentioned Asperger's. Is there anything else that comes under autism? No.
we just went through this, right?
just
Glenn?
went through.
No, but I mentioned
Rats.
1,000 for dementia. It's 1,000 different types, right?
Yeah.
So
Are there 1,000 different
so-
types here?
Yeah, are there like
No,
that many?
So there, it's a spectrum, so it covers many different levels of it.
Levels.
And earlier we spoke of Asperger's. We
Rett.
spoke of the PD and not otherwise specified.
Otherwise
And then we
specified.
spoke of Rett's and the childhood disintegrative disorder. So you have all these different types there. Now, I guess what can complicate it is that it can comorbid with other learning issues. Yeah.
Oh no.
So it can come together with ADHD. So the
Oh.
behavior becomes accentuated with, impulsivity.
Okay. Hold
With
on. We're going to
more
go for a traffic update. Yeah, more and more I think I'm autistic. Okay.
2, 1, here we go.
1FM 91.3 traffic.
The KPE towards the TPE, a vehicle broken down at the TPE PIE exit. The PIE towards Changi, a vehicle broken down before Upper Bukit Timah Road. BKE towards the PIE, an accident before Mandai Road exit. Congestion is to the SLE, avoid lane 2. On the CTE towards the AYE, an accident after the PIE Jurong exit. Congestion is to the PIE Changi. West Coast Highway towards Tuas, a vehicle broken down at the West Coast Highway flyover. Avoid the left lane. Please stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Thank you so much for having us on. We hope you're enjoying today's session with our guest every Tuesday, Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Once again, good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. I think Chris has a lovely sharing on the Facebook. Yeah, and he says, my son is autistic. He is considered under the moderate spectrum. He does not verbal a lot. Once he had a mini down or mild meltdown in the train, lots of eye staring. How to calm him down. And Chris was really surprised as a man who was leaving the train came up to him and said, God bless you and him. So beautiful.
that's
Thank
sweet.
you for sharing,
That's sweet.
Chris.
That's very nice.
You know-
Speaking of which, how do we, I'm sorry, FD,
No,
just
go
one
ahead,
question.
Go ahead.
How do we behave or, around people that live with autism or have children of people, children with autism? How do we behave? What do we say? What do we not say? If the kid is acting up?
I was a little bit startled there, but it's only because I interact with them. They're no different from many of us. So we don't need to treat them any differently. We do need to treat them with a little bit more tolerance because they might showcase behaviors that we are not used to, say things that we are uncomfortable with. They can be very direct. They can be extremely abrupt also, but there is no malice intent. And they are unable to figure out your emotions or to read the subtlety of, the subtle nuances of, social cues. So that's why they may be a bit more abrupt and, abrasive, as Glenn was saying, much earlier.
But for
So
people
tolerance
who are,
is key. Okay.
for people who are awkward, like what Angel just brought up, right? Some people just feel awkward in a situation like that. Is it best for them to then just keep quiet, rather than try, to communicate or, with the individual?
If you're unsure, you don't need to do anything because
Right.
The little child with autism is not going to hold you to it. You don't need to hold a conversation with the child. They will want to request for a conversation, and if you wish to participate in it, please do. If you don't, you can always not participate in it.
Okay.
Okay. Coming up,
I
I've
think
got a
Glenn,
question. I've got a question about selective mutism.
All right. Meantime, here's Journey with Don't Stop Believing on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
I think learn from Thumper. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything nice at all.
Yeah.
Thumper the rabbit.
Yeah, Thumper the rabbit.
Thumper the rabbit. Yeah.
Oh my God! But this rabbit could talk.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah,
You want
of
to come over to
course,
my house
yes,
and
yeah.
see my
So
rabbits?
on the spectrum.
Hey, this is Thumper in Alice in Wonderland, right?
Was it?
No,
Alice?
I think so.
Thumper
No.
is Thumper on its own.
Oh,
Thumper is
okay.
a whole different cartoon.
So Jerry,
That's not the Mad Hatter.
no, Jerry, Grace gave us this message on Facebook. She says, "Good morning, everyone. Can I check if selective mutism is on the spectrum, Or is it just rebellious behavior that goes away as a tween grows older? Because play therapy doesn't seem to help. Is selective mutism part, is it on the spectrum for autism?
What is selective
It
mutism?
is a diagnosis by itself, and selective mutism is extremely difficult to deal with. Sometimes we have breakthroughs. Other times we do need a long period of time to work with the child or with the teen, because they are not even able to tell us what the trigger is. So they would just keep quiet even with their therapist, but they may be able to talk with the family. They go to school and they can't talk at all. Or different scenarios, they would not talk at all. So we do try, and please give your therapist time to work with your child. If not, perhaps other forms of therapy might help also.
Okay. Very
Okay.
interesting. I'd never heard of selective mutism before.
Yeah. So
So it's
you
when
say
they don't talk, right?
It's when they refuse
We
to
did
talk.
cover it, I think. Yeah. So they yeah. Oh well, we can always.
But you
cover
know,
it
like Jerry,
next week.
sometimes when you're talking, it goes in here, comes out the other side.
Because that's
For
selective
me.
hearing. That's,
For
that's
me.
selective
No,
hearing.
you know why, Jerry? Because he wears his headphones this way, so it goes in one is it comes. See, with me it stays, so it's both sides.
Is it-
It's just-
I don't want to hold on to one side and look like the Bee Gees. Oh yeah, and maybe a mobile radio DJ as well. Because I'm not a mobile radio DJ. I'm a radio DJ. There's a difference.
Jerry,
Okay.
you know when autistic children, I don't know whether it's, again, correct me if I'm using the wrong language.
No,
when
it's
when
an
a,
open discussion.
when an autistic child acts up, how do we calm that child down?
So when you approach the child, you as the person going in needs to be calm also, because they're very sensitive, right? So they can feel if you're all activated, if you're flustered. And if you are flustered, they get more activated. So you really don't want that.
Oh.
Yeah, so approaching them very gently and calmly, using very soft tones to help them to de-escalate the whole situation.
This is the way
Just
we treat
be
our
with-
wives, by the way.
Yeah, this is for anyone, isn't it? You have to be calm with everyone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when someone's overreacting or something like, for regular people I'm talking about, you go in calm. Because if you go in calm, then their level sort of comes down as well, right?
That's how you talk to
Right, but the reason
Terrorists.
why I asked this question is Molly said there's a system where you place your hands on their shoulders with a firm grip but not too tight to help calm them down. Is that a way of
To
doing it?
wait as a weight.
Well, it really depends on each child. Like like I said, right? Some of the children are very sensitive. They don't want
touch.
you to touch them, especially if you're agitated, especially if you're angry. You and I, if we are angry, sometimes we don't want to be touched also.
God, this sounds
So
like
the
some of the women
natural
I've been with.
The natural reaction is you kind of push them away and
Yeah.
just or the child will push you. Oh no, Glenn is resonating with it. You got pushed a lot.
Yeah, I know he is. It sounds exactly like some of his past relationships. I think he's like, they're pushing me away. They won't let me
dear
touch
me.
them.
In the Avengers, Natasha Romanoff uses Lullaby to
With
soothe-
Lullaby?
Lullaby.
Lullaby with
yeah.
Oh, lullaby.
Lullaby.
with the
Yeah.
and she strokes his palm.
So for the younger children, we can use gentle music, their favorite music, not lullabies, but they have favorite musics also.
Okay.
Just
Glenn,
stroke my palm.
I think we
enough.
should stop. Glenn is like veering off.
It's almost 9 o'clock. That's why he feels this way.
Yeah,
Stroke
his
my
his
palm,
attention
stroke my
span only
shoulder.
lasts 55 minutes. See, he's going
One
off
of
already.
these
He needs
days,
to
we're
take a
gonna
break.
do the
It's like-
attention test for Glenn lah.
Yeah, I think.
Wow, we
be
will
so
all
brilliant.
fail. All of us will
We'll
fail.
all fail.
I've,
Jerry.
I've been so attentive for 56 minutes.
That's all. That's all.
That's that about it. already.
Actually, we've got one more
And if-
comment. We've got
Yeah.
one more comment on our Facebook page that is quite interesting. Me and my wife know a parent whose kid might have autism. We're not sure if the parent knows or maybe they're trying to ignore it. What should we do? Should we tell them? If yes, how do you tell them?
Yeah.
Should they mind their own business?
Yeah, should they mind their own business?
It is
Wow.
very difficult, but sometimes in a group of children, you can see the disparity in the behavior already. You can gently, just let them know that, hey, your child is showing certain behaviors. Go to your pediatrician, because sometimes to tell them to go straight to the psychologist or the psychiatrist might be a bit too much for them. But I hope not. As you all can see, psychologists are very friendly.
True.
Yes.
Jerry, what?
But
Yeah. I just want to ask you, what are the chances that a kid is, autistic if parents cannot control their kid anymore? As in, really, like they have no control over their kid anymore. Is it possible that the kid is autistic, or is it that the parents are just weak?
No, seriously, that's a good question.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just being honest here.
No, that's a good question.
Yes. But it doesn't mean that if a child is autistic, the parent have no control. So that's also a myth. So if the parent doesn't have control, there might be a few more things at play. And Glenn, you probably hit the nail on the head. Like sometimes the parents have no control. They are too lax. And because they have no boundaries, the child have crossed many boundaries and you cannot pull back anymore. The child have other issues, anger management, ADHD, other issues that may have not been diagnosed and can easily be missed. You probably or even conduct disorder.
Yeah.
Right?
Because the kid could be hitting grandma, could be hitting grandpa, staying in the same household, hitting the maid, abusing the pets. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So it could be conduct disorder also that may be undiagnosed. So we would really encourage the parent to bring the child to the psychologist. Or if you're very, very uncomfortable, go to the pediatrician first. Your pediatrician is the first person and is the one that has been looking out for your child all these years. They will direct you, and we've worked with brilliant, pediatricians who will, at the appropriate time, encourage the parents to come to us.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Any final words, Dr. Jerry?
Of course, the Maori word for autism is takiwatanga, in his or her own time and space. How beautiful it is.
That is beautiful.
Maori word, did you say?
Maori.
Maori.
Maori word,
beautiful.
yes. Takiwatanga.
Takiwatanga.
Takiwatanga. Nice, I like it.
Yes.
Hakuna Matata.
In
same
his or her own time and space. And in
Love that.
his or her own time and space, they will grow. And just to end it, I always remember the mother who, after 2 or 3 years of therapy, held my hand and say, my child is finally able to say, I love you, mommy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, how special is that?
Awesome.
Great ending.
Yeah.
Great ending, Dr. Jerry. That's beautiful.
That's wonderful. And we're thinking of all you parents, who go through the day,
Challenges,
taking
yeah.
extra care of your children, who may have autism. We just like to say, be strong. Our thoughts are with all of you, and everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Jerry.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. We'll see you
I'll
next
see
week.
all of you next week. Thank you for having me on again.
Always a
Bye.
pleasure.
Bye.
Bye bye. And that was Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. What a session.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are we
That was
signing
quite
off?
Yes.
On everywhere, yes. we
Are
can
we-
say
On
bye.
everywhere.
Yeah.
We're signing
just,
off on
just,
everywhere.
Just want to thank
Yeah.
everyone
Are we still
for...
on air? Are we still
Yes.
on air?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're
Oh,
still
we're on
on
air.
on
Okay.
Facebook. I just want to
No,
thank
and on air.
everyone for their comments.
Yes,
Um,
Yeah,
yes,
great
a lot.
comments today. Plenty.
Yes, we are not on the radio. We are not.
Oh,
we
we're
are on
not
the
on
Big
the
Show
radio.
TV.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Big
Yes.
Show TV. Okay.
So thank you for all your comments. Thank you very, very much. And we want you to share the video. All right.
Yeah. Who do we have coming up tomorrow?
Oh, yes. Tomorrow we have our minister coming in. She is the second minister for finance and second minister for national development. The one and only, our friend, Minister Indrani Raja.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
That'll be good.
Indrani has met Angel and myself already. The last
Hasn't
time. The last time.
I was in another room.
Exactly.
I get
So-
to meet her.
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome.
yeah.
So
I was
this
in
is
another
cool.
And we
This is
got
cool.
to do yoga with her as well.
Exactly.
Well, lucky you.
Bit of
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you
we got to
planted
do
a
a bit of
tree.
yoga.
Yes,
Well,
yes, yes.
you guys have fun. I'm gonna go on a holiday. I think I might go to Australia. So I won't see you guys tomorrow.
Angel. Angel.
Fun, yeah.
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 Okay. So wait. So when are you gonna come on air with us again then?
Will we
Who
see
knows?
Thursday?
I'll let you know
Who
the night
knows?
before. Who knows? I'll
So,
decide the night.
rock star.
Nice.
I am the one. No, I'm Glenn Ong Suka. No, but this
right.
one is Suka Suka.
Suka.
Yeah. Okay. Take care. Love to the family over there, Angel.
Take care.
Ciao,
All right.
Bye.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi,
Okay,
oi.
that's correct. Wow, I thought I hit like 4 Aussies. Okay. Share the video.